Hello and welcome to Daily Podcast number 6. Another late night. Really got to stop having these. Ended up driving a few people up to the Rome airport tonight, and I just wanted to cover a couple of quick things from that drive. First of all, if anyone out there listening to this is in any way responsible for a public bathroom, please just get smart with the hand air dryers. You know, I just have never understood these. It drives me nuts from a design perspective, from a customer thoughtfulness, being considerate for your customers. You know, honestly, to use the dryer correctly, it takes a good 2 or 3 minutes to stand there, at least it seems like it, and get your hands completely dry. And I just always felt like the proper ratio needs to be 2 dryers to every 1 sink, which of course never happens. So to be considerate, you have to walk away with your hands still wet. It is ridiculous. Just pay for the towels or have more dryer. I don't get it. So if you're out there, if you're watching this, if you're listening, please do something for your customers. It gets pretty ridiculous. On a more positive note, I had the opportunity. You can, if you're on YouTube, you can see some of the bookshelves in the background. Just wanted to pull one off tonight and mention it. Classic book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie. YouTube video viewers can see this copy. It's the first one I had. It's completely torn up. I don't read out of this one anymore. Had to get a new one. It's I don't know how many times I've read this, 10, 20, more so the first half, because I still haven't come close to implementing that one, those parts. But for example, if you've never read this, Chapter 1, I don't even need to look it up. Chapter 1 ends with the tip, don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Good luck. I first read this at least 10 years ago. Still haven't come close to even getting past the first chapter as far as application. But it's a spectacular book. Don't listen to any negative reviews. There aren't many, but there's people who think it's about manipulating people and things like that to get what you want, and it really isn't. It even talks about the difference at one point between flattery and I don't know, but basically being sincere in your interest in other people. Which brings me to my next point. One of the other techniques is to become genuinely interested in other people. I think that's chapter 2, actually. I'd have to look it up. It's been a little while, unfortunately. No, it's not chapter 2. But yes, become genuinely interested in other people. So tonight on the ride back, I had somebody along with me for the ride. And, I've worked with him. I haven't worked with him personally. It's been a few months. He's been around. Probably a year and a half now. I don't know. Time flies. But he always seemed like a nice guy. One of my good friends told me that he is a very, very great guy. Apparently, he's just a great family man, husband and father. So, he's quiet. I haven't really worked with him personally, gotten to know him, but we were riding together, and I thought, well, let's just take a page out of Dale Carnegie. And really spent about the first hour of the drive just asking him a lot of questions. And had a great time. Just got to know things about him and who he is. He really is a nice guy. And one of the tough things for me in implementing this book is it always seems to go great when I'm in the mood for it. The hardest part about self-improvement in general is to catch yourself in the negative behavior and stop it, or even become aware of it. I mean, that's the first step, is just to be in the moment and develop that awareness, even if you change nothing at first. Just being aware that it's happening is the first step. And then, of course, the hard part is to be aware of it and actually reverse the behavior. So, yeah, but tonight I was in a decent mood by later in the evening. So, asked him just a lot of things. It was great. It's not like we're ever going to be lifelong friends. I don't think he's somebody I would necessarily hang out with, not because I dislike him in any way. Great guy, just maybe not a lot of common interests. He's got the whole family thing going. I do not. So, but it was really nice. It's an evening I'll remember. Learn a few things about people in general, about him in particular. Another chapter out of the book is about remembering people's names and using them. And, while we were talking, I never knew any of his family's names, but learned his wife and 2 kids' names and kind of made an effort to remember and use them in conversations. So when I'd ask about his son or, come up in conversation, I wouldn't just say, oh, does your son blah, blah, blah. I could actually ask with his name even after only hearing it once. And I think those little things just do a lot to make the personal connection. And it was a great experience. So definitely, this has come up recently. A great friend of mine had never read this, so I recommended it to him, and it's just kind of changed his world. He's in his early 30s now and has said, man, if I had this book from when I was in college, just who knows what I could have done with this. And again, it's not about manipulation or getting what you want necessarily. It's just about having smoother relationships with people, whether it's the strangers, one-time meetings, whether it's your colleagues you work with or your family that you're going to be with for life. So it's had a big impact on him. Of course, he's recognized the difficulty in applying it. It's really a lifelong process. And actually, the book starts with 9 tips for getting the most out of this book, and really just talks about how it has to be a constant review, a way of life. If you're ever going to truly implement it, you have to develop habits of practicing it, habits of reviewing what you've done right, what you've done wrong, and that's really a big part. My friend's been going through it, and we take some time to talk about situations that have come up, this week, the last few days, of what happened, how did you fail? And that's him bringing it up, not me. How did he fail to implement it and kind of do the bad habits, and just analyzing after the fact how it could have gone. And that's such a huge thing. Like I said earlier, the hardest part is developing the awareness before you can ever make the change. And the way you start developing the awareness is kind of the post-game analysis of just constantly look back, say, oh, man, I could have done that. Yeah, of course, according to the book, the proper method would have been to do this. And if you do that enough, you start putting it in the back of your mind. You start out too late to do anything about it, but you just analyze, put it in your mind, and before long, you start recognizing it in the situations. Before long, you start recognizing it before the situation, and that's when you have the opportunity to make a change. So, huge. I don't know how these things are going to go over. Love some feedback if you're out there listening, watching. If you find any value in this, just kind of my little ramblings on what I found for self-improvement. Definitely a path. I talked about yesterday in the 5th daily podcast of just that path of mastery. It can't just be about the end goal and what it'll get you. It has to be about the practice, the daily application. So I felt good today. A little daily application of Dale Carnegie and his timeless ideas. So overall, good day, good experience with that. And that is it for Daily Podcast number 6. I am Eric Dobson, and if you're listening to this, however you found it, YouTube, you can reach me and more of this through ericdobson.com. This is just a new thing I'm starting up with the Daily Podcast, and there's going to be a lot more to come of these and some more in-depth, specific content on various topics. So a lot to come. Thanks for listening, YouTubers. Thanks for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks.